Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with all of you today. We wanted to do this live LinkedIn stream to talk about Web3, the metaverse, and how NFTs can help brands increase their business, build their community, and achieve all sorts of great KPIs. So we have Thibaut with us, CEO and co-founder of Exclusible, and we also have Ivan, based in Dubai, who is co-founder of W3rlds. And so for those of you who don't know, W3rlds is a metaverse tech platforms that powers white label metaverse on both sides. So creators can create templates and different type of environments, and then brands or corporations, or even also anyone, can basically use these templates to power their metaverse experiences. So hi guys, great to be with you. And so maybe we can start with Ivan. I think you have prepared a great presentation about your vision for the metaverse.
Yeah, that's right. I'm this kind of person who like to speak with videos and some references because metaverse, it's a kind of a new media. It's really related on envisioning the next way of communication between the people. So today the topic of the, let's call it the live session, to go to the future of the metaverse. But to understand the future, we definitely need to go a little bit in the past and definitely figure out what is going on right now. So I will keep it in a balance between educational and some kind of use case studies with the numbers. Let's me share the screen. So exploring the future of Web3 and Metaverse, worlds, and in partnership with Exclusible, or Exclusible with partnership with W3rlds. So probably most of you heard about the metaverse.
Sorry, I don't think we see your screen at the moment.
Okay, I'm sharing the screen.
Yes,
yes.
Now it works.
Okay.
Great, perfect. So have you heard about metaverse? I don't even know the single person, especially in Dubai, who don't know what the metaverse. Even taxi guy wouldn't know what, like trying to expand what's the metaverse. But do you really know what is the metaverse? Because there are so many different definitions of this. Today, we'll try to bring it in a way which is really easy to understand. It doesn't matter what's your background. Are you agency? Are you metaverse builder? Are you from like a business perspective, or just a regular user? So it's important to understand the very simple things. We are always finding a good way to transfer information from one to another, like books, voice recording, a movie, radio, television, internet, mobile platform, social network. That's all like kind of planetary scale media channels. And when we're talking about the metaverse or different ways to expanding this, like extended reality or augmented reality, virtual reality, all these types of communication, it's all about connection between the human and information, or a connection between one human and another. So when we ask, like, what is the next way of communication? How can we extend the way of extend the channel of the communication? We can say that's information which is going to three-dimensional environment. That's the answer. Our phone are just too small to digest all this information flow we have around us, meaning that we need a new way of communication where we're going to have the possibility to meet a person in three-dimensional environments. We can see the objects in three dimensions. Today, I will try to expand it and show you lots of examples and how the brands are using this and how the agency helping to create this. But one of the ways to see the metaverse in general, of course, it's to say that it's a digital layer on top of the physical world. So when we speak about metaverse, it's not about escaping reality. It's always about combination of both. So we are not inviting brands to kind of forget about the real world. We're inviting to extend the reality and kind of combine the both and digital and virtual. Sorry, physical and digital. Of course, there are some of you who want to know the kind of definition. So that's a definition I personally really like. That's a way I think it's the best way to kind of to see this. The metaverse is a massive, scalable, interoperable network But sometimes it's good to have the simpler explanation, right? So we can say that's it's a network of 3D virtual worlds with identity, communication, and payments. But again, depends on who you are and what are you doing. Actually, you can change the definition of this. And the same way when you ask what's the internet, uh, if you're doing the website, person can say, yeah, that's the internet. But if you're doing the the backend and you're responsible for the connection of the entire network, so that's the internet for you. The same for the metaverse. If you ask like someone from Worlds, that's definitely the way we see this. It's a 3D internet because that's the way the brands understand this. Most of them have the website and they operate and they have a communication with others during the web through the website. They have a different parts of the website. The one could be for retail and for selling. One could be for like just the storytelling. And the same about the metaverse. It's a way to tell your story, but now you can just bring it in the next level. You can keep the people engaged much longer. You can invite unlimited amount of people inside your environment and invite them to play, invite them to speak with each other. That's a value of the metaverse, and that's what the platforms, different platforms all around the world, offering for brands right now. So again, what's the metaverse? Let's try to answer through the formula. Imagine you have a world environment around you. You're probably right now sitting in a room, or you can be inside the building. That's the environment, that's the architecture. Then we have the avatar. Avatar is more like a digital identity. You all have a profile picture on your Facebook or in Twitter. But now, what if you have the three-dimensional version of yourself? You can be the human-like person, or you can be even an animal in some of the metaverse ecosystems. That's fine. You can be whoever you want. But most important, that's a social experience. So you're able to see other avatars and other people. And of course, you have an asset. Asset is more like a three-dimensional items, or you could be an object, or it could be the part of the retail experience. That's just let's call them the assets. That's the way we see this. So the combination of both of those three elements, that's actually one of the way to see the metaverse. That's the formula of the metaverse we are trying to deliver to our brands. And I already mentioned that there are a few very important elements, and they are in a core of the definition, in a DNA of the definition, what is different compared to other previous media channels. Why I need to go to the let's say the metaverse, and why I just can't post the video on YouTube. So it's very important that in the metaverse you can have the social collaboration. You actually can meet other people who are, for example, a fan of the brand. You can share the information. For example, you love the same sneakers, or you can just meet the people who have the same value as you have. Another thing, it's a gamification and activation. Gamification, it's not about the kids spending time with playing a PC or PlayStation. It's more about the general process around us. Most of the process around us is going right now through the gamification. Do this and you'll get some bonuses. If you will go this way, you'll get some extra points and stuff like this. That's all just a gentle form of the gamification. So is there nothing wrong to play with your audience a little bit? And the metaverse is the best playground for this. Imagine you can do whatever game you want and then invite people to have a treasure hunting or find a password or explore of like important things for your brand. That's all available for our brands right now, and you don't need to have like a hundreds of thousands budget. You can now afford it because the technology is now become very accessible. You can start using templates, invite other creators to participate with you, and it's a very good moment to finally start experimenting with this. So let's go back to the formula. So we have a world, avatars, and assets. That's probably very clear for most of you. You have the analogy for this, but just let's go quickly through the examples. So imagine you have the website. That's a flat, that's your virtual world, but it's flat. So what we are proposing here is to have exactly the same experience, So try to deliver even the same message. So if you have the mission of your company, and then you have the goals, you have some numbers. So make it in the same way, but now in 3D, and invite people to play with it. So talking about the numbers currently on the platform, we have like a 500 unique worlds uploaded. The average time people spend inside the metaverse is 7.5 minutes, which is compared to the classic website, it's very high number. And also we're trying to deliver this unique proposal for brands where you can get that the template, and the starting price for template could be around $3,000 where you can just try it, and it could be the first step inside the metaverse, and then you can build the entire world connected to your own website. But there are always needs for like a first touch point, and that's what we're trying to achieve here. Going back to the formula, we also have a digital asset. So before, it was just a JPEG where you're going to the shop and you see the image of the object you want to buy. But now you always can get a three-dimensional version of this. And that's the future of the retail in general. Any object could be delivered as a three-dimensional asset. And you can see this object not just in the virtual space, you can see this in the real world. That's what most of the people call augmented reality, because we have a physical world and then we have a digital object on top of this world. You don't need an application for this. You don't even need to have an Instagram for this. You can do this directly from the website. And most of the people have access to this technology, because we have almost 8 billion mobile phones on Earth, and 80% of these devices actually can work with augmented reality in a way I'm showing on the video right now. And the fact that augmented reality helped to increase the conversion rates to purchase, and brands like IKEA and all the competitors providing this, the furniture and a different type of accessories for homes, they proving that's actually increasing the conversion rate to purchase. And of course, the same sofa, as I already told you, can go to the virtual world, and you don't need to do the double job. You can just have one asset and bring it to the virtual world, and also have it in augmented reality. But then you could ask me, like, how to create a digital asset, and that's where you can use the photogrammetry. I'm not a coder. I'm CIO of the platform, so I literally spent 10 minutes to scan the object, and then I was available to bring it to the virtual world, and then I was available to bring it as augmented reality asset. So these tools are accessible for most of the people just to give a try. And that's what I am trying to say to you, that don't speak about the metaverse if you never try this. And for now, it's the best moment to try, because the platforms are free and you can just experiment, use one of the templates, upload some content just to see what it is. And then you can probably find a value and find a direction your brand specifically wants in general for the kind of this Web3 strategy. Talking about the formula, and that's the last piece of this kind of three most important parts of the metaverse. So we have the avatar, and as I already told you, it's like your digital identity, and that's okay to have the different avatars, and you can travel from one virtual world to another with different bodies, and it could be high quality fashion avatar using, and you can wear a digital fashion, or it could be something very simple like this Emperor from the Emperor collections, and that's very okay for the metaverses to be presented in a different style. I want to show you one of the examples, and that's event actually happens today in the morning, and it was the opening event inside the showroom. And lots of people just came and using their avatars. If you don't have an avatar, you can have your default. They have a small dance competition. They experience the car in augmented reality, the walking around. So that's kind of the first things which is starting to happen. And that's just the beginning, because then you can implement the gamification inside. You can implement the simple treasure hunting. And all this, and I will explain you the key feature here. It could be available under the white label. But today we're speaking together with Exclusible, who has probably the best experience on the market using the integration of the Web3 strategy for brands. So, and the question I probably need to answer for you all, and so what is the role of what's the balance between the metaverse and the blockchain? So imagine all these Lego bricks on the left side, that's a metaverse. So the role of the blockchain, it's to confirm that that's unique item that's actually yours, for example, or you have this kind of artificial scarcity for this amount of objects. Because in digital world, you can copy anything in limited time. So that's why the metaverse really needs a technology to prove the ownership of, to prove the limiting number of specific objects. Some metaverse ecosystems using this to limit the number of lands. For example, Decentraland saying that we have only this amount of land, and you can only build on this land. We are, as a platform, proposing a very different solution. We are not limiting a number of spaces because no one limiting a number of websites, right? So you can build your own website and then connect the experience. So we are more likely to limit the number of the really good experiences by providing good tools. But we think that's not a good idea to limit the creativity and limit the number of the spaces of the metaverse spaces. Talking about the open and closed metaverses, you can feel free to take a screenshot of one of the examples to see the different metaverse ecosystem. So some of them are closed, so you only can go inside and play inside these games, and you can only kind of spend the money inside. You can get some items and everything keeping inside one environment. And some of them are open, meaning that you can contribute, you can upload your own content, you can upload maybe your own avatar, you can have some kind of decentralized elements like integration of the blockchain. So that's the difference between closed and open. And there are also kind of the difference between the quality of the graphics. So what we're trying to build here, we're trying to be very open, we're trying to be connected to the brands, and also we're trying to deliver the best quality of the graphics. And also affordable for the brands to start experiencing this right now. And as I already said, that's just the beginning. And back to my like analogy, which I like the most, it's the internet. That's the idea of the internet in the beginning. You have different standards, you have different protocols, but now we have one way to access the internet, and we all know how it works. So the same will happen step by step with the metaverse. So step by step, we'll have this possibility to access metaverse in one standard and in one protocol. Probably I will end up with a few numbers I want to show you today. That's the numbers about that's kind of the numbers I really like from the different metaverse ecosystems, and just to prove that there are something happening, and it's not just a short-term hype. That there are actually big, strong, let's say the amount of users and amount of people who are ready to contribute inside the virtual world. So I definitely need to mention that there are players like Roblox, and there are around 200 million monthly users. So that's the people who are just exploring different things inside the virtual world. And that's just like this year. And of course, this number is growing very rapidly. And there are around 4 billion hours of usage per month. And we are speaking only about the single metaverse ecosystem. That's very important to understand that there are new generation who are ready to communicate, who are ready to contribute, who are ready to communicate with the brands inside the virtual environments. And I probably want to mention the one last case, and we launched this recently. And just an example of what kind of a communication you can have inside the virtual environment. I'll probably start this video again because I need to explain what is happening. This is a case we made for American Rags. It's iCommerce. We call it iCommerce because it's a new way of communication with your retail experience. And we can see here, it's a web-based experience. So anyone with a link can access this, and then you can find the object you like. For example, I wanted to see this shoe. Then you can scan the QR code and get this object in augmented reality. Then all this happening without application, without need to have a complex registration, without need to have a crypto wallet. All this is just a pure experience between you and a brand. And the key feature we are providing here, and I really think that that's one of the future, that's a white label. So imagine you can have like metaverse.nameofyourcompany.com or metaverse.yourbrand.io. That's a feeling you can deliver to your clients that you're not going to somewhere there, you're keeping them somewhere here. you're inviting them to your home, you're inviting them to visit your own brands and providing them the experience inside this three-dimensional world. I think there will be different ways of communication, different ways of delivering this experience. And one of the ways is, of course, to invite the clients to your own website. So I have millions other slides to share, but I think it's better to keep it short. Maybe we'll I'll tell you more about the different use cases in the digital fashion and in a real estate, in a retail on the next session. But probably today I will give a word to Olivier and to Thibaut. I really can wait to hear from the different perspective on this.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's really great. Really fantastic. Great presentation, very visual. It's a great take, very practical take on the metaverse. So a lot of key takeaways there. So before we go into Q&As, I'm going to show a few slides as well, but this time we're going to switch to NFTs and Web3, how brands can leverage Web3 to create a new type of engagement and a new type of community. All right, so I'm going to share my screen.
And just one thing so that everyone understands. So at Exclusible, we are building in 25 different metaverse, including Roblox, Sandbox, Decentraland, Spatial, etc. with our metaverse studio in the US, which is called Polycon. And we recently did a strategic partnership with W3rlds, which is this white label solution where you can have kind of Shopify of metaverse, right? You can have the metaverse experience on your website. So yes, what
Okay. So that's what I'm showing here. It's it's our famous house on the water that we also built on Roblox, and you can see it's a very fun environment, very high quality designs, leveraging the Roblox engine.
Yes, and there's 61 million users per day, daily active user on Roblox. So it's a great solution when some brands are a bit worried that some metaverse, they don't have a lot of traffic. Roblox is a solution. When they want on their own website, W3rlds is a solution. When they absolutely want to land, Decentraland and Sandbox is a good solution.
Exactly. So high level presentation on the Web3 and the power of Web3 for brands and corporations. So I always like to start by putting Web3 in the context of the moment, the moment and that we live in. In our opinion, Web3 is the next source of creativity and inspiration for fashion and luxury brands around the world. It is to brands what streetwear was maybe 15, 12 years ago. And everything came to life thanks to NFT technology and also OpenSea. All of a sudden, you had creative talents from around the world. Think about graphic designers, freelance digital designers, 3D artists, fashion designers working in silo in their home countries with very little visibility, and they were working maybe with agencies or clients or freelance. All of a sudden, thanks to NFTs and OpenSea, every single talented person and creative person had a platform where they could not only display their art, but also sell and gain royalties. And so it opened a door to millions of people around the world to really express and display and showcase their creativity. Then, of course, what we've seen over the past 2 years is that there's a new form of brand that came to life. IPs born in Web3. They are becoming the next mega brands. And so the timing is perfect because yesterday, Louis Vuitton announced that Pharrell is going to be their new designer for their men's collections. Pharrell is also the chief brand officer of Doodles. So we can expect maybe that the next collaboration will be between Vuitton and Doodles. And so Web3 is going to dominate the culture for the next decade. It's interesting here. You see either artists who raise to fame or Web3 projects which became literal brands. So for us, we see three major trends in Web3: Metaverse, Ivan talked about it, NFTs that can fulfill different functions from selling them, so it's a new product and revenue stream, or it can be used through blockchain technology to trace and track and authentify products. But there's also another application, which is what we call the Web3 CRM. That's what I want to focus on today. So in the current context, it's been 15 to 20 years that market teams around the world have mastered the digital marketing stack. But in today's context, we can think that every communication channel is saturated, every distribution channel is also saturated. Every marketer faces a dramatic increase in CAC, lower LTVs, all of that in the global context of the inflation, a recession, a war. It's like a lot of adverse market conditions. We also believe that in a Web2 social media context, we talk about followers. A lot of brands believe that they have a community, but they don't. They have followers. And it's really a one-way street. It's a one-way relationship as opposed to a true authentic community and dialogue. It's very transactional. We measure absolutely every single metric across the marketing funnel. So now in this context, how can we bring growth, especially if a lot of brands are targeting double-digit year-on-year growth? We need a new engine for growth, engagement, authentic relationship, also in the context of the younger generation, which is native and really for them it's natural to evolve on metaverse platforms like Roblox or like video games. So that's why we think that Web3 is a new solution. It doesn't come to replace anything. Let me be clear. It's not replacing your existing marketing stack. It's not replacing stores or the physical expression of a brand. It's a new marketing channel. Okay. It can allow you to build your community. You can engage and reward your fans. So we're going into a new concept, which is hard to say. It's fanurism. So you go from consumers who are actually your fans, and you can have many different touch points and a different type of relationship. You can decide to distribute your products in token-gated environments to a very specific type of audience. You can gamify your interaction. You can create a more experiential relationship through the metaverse. And all in all, as I said, it's a much more authentic dialogue. So what are the benefits of Web3 loyalty? As I said, we go from transactional to experiential. It's not only about the interaction on your website, buying products, or gaining points. The relationship can be more personalized because the touch points within an NFT community can happen in different type of token-gated environments, whether it's a chat, a two-way chat, or access to exclusive content, exclusive events, exclusive products, you name it. There are many different ways to deploy token-gated benefits. We realize all the metrics that we have gathered so far point to the direction that when you deploy a Web3 CRM program, you have really low CAC because you can distribute NFTs for free. And then you have a community of a lower number, but you can think about 1,000, 10,000, or 20,000 people who are much, much more engaged because they are really happy and proud to be part of this unique community. It's also a potential new revenue stream with the upside of the royalties on the secondary market. And also what I call the permissionless partnerships, where not only you can deploy your own campaigns, but you could also decide as a brand to create value for other NFT holders. So we had a great example lately with a French casino chain called Partouche, which decided to release a token-gated benefit of one free night in their casino to the holders of the Porsche NFT. Porsche has nothing to do with it, but because it's absolutely available and discoverable to see who holds the NFTs from Porsche, you don't know their names, obviously, but you are deploying a reward to them. And so they just have to connect with their NFT, and then they can access and unlock the reward. So it's great for like cross-brand partnerships. And then finally, the essence, the nature of loyalty program, surprise and delight. Through airdrops, you can keep surprising and engaging your community with different type of activations. So for us, our objective is to bring the next million people into Web3. How do we do that? The key is really to hide every technological layer in the backend. So we don't talk about crypto wallets, don't talk about blockchains. We always say no wallet, no crypto, no problem. Okay, so it should be easy to onboard. You don't need to have crypto, you don't need to have a wallet. Of course, it's an opportunity to merge the worlds of Web3 communities with the traditional brands. And then, as I said earlier, you can start a two-way dialogue where you can co-create with your community and they can influence the destiny of your brand. Once you have built your community, then you deploy campaigns. And your campaigns can be really across your marketing funnel. You can connect with your NFT community in real life, but also in the digital. You can encourage them to go to your store, discover your products, discover your brand. You can encourage them to interact and watch videos about your heritage. They can attend masterclass. They can talk to the designer. You can invite them to visit your manufacturer. I mean, again, like the sky is the limit in terms of what type of CRM campaigns you can deploy. And then, of course, you can also derive on-chain and off-chain data analytics to really understand the engagement and what works and what doesn't work. And you have like community metrics. So very quickly on the metaverse side, because for us, the metaverse and NFTs are two sides of the same coin. Even though a metaverse doesn't have to be Web3 at all, it can be completely Web2. For us, it's this new way, it's this new reality that helps brands create something new, fun, engaging, gamified, and it's a new kind of relationship. We see the metaverse as a new channel as well. Temporary becomes eternal, local becomes universal, transactional becomes experiential. But you can also merge NFTs and the metaverse. So the video that I'm showing here is purely a test that we built to show you how easy it is to embed the collection of NFTs as a reward, as an access key, whatever you want it to be. It's as easy as literally clicking on the link that will then bring you to our product called Hyloop, which will allow you to claim this NFT with a simple sign-on, email, Facebook, Google, or you can also connect with your MetaMask, but at least you have a choice. And then that's it. You have connected, you have claimed the NFT. So very quickly, just before I show you a demo of actually what we are building, we're really happy to collaborate and do the joint venture with W3rlds and Ivan and his team. We also have Polycount, our 3D studio based in Dallas. So we are kind of like a one-stop shop partner for building metaverse experiences across 20 different platforms. We build on Unity, on Roblox, on Unreal Engine. We can create white label NFT Launchpad environments. And we also have our CRM product, which is called Hyloop, which I am going to demo right now. And I hope I'm not going to do what Google did last week when they demoed Bard. And I think they shed $100 billion valuation. Good thing about being a private company, I guess. So this is Hyloop. It's our product. It's a very simple yet extremely powerful NFT minter. Anyone can create an NFT collection in just a few clicks, and I'm gonna show you how it works right now. Let's say that we could have done an NFT for this, LinkedIn Live, description. Let's say we have 100 NFTs to give. Let's say it's Exclusible. I select my team. I'm going to create now. I select the blockchain, Ethereum or Polygon. It's an NFT for free, so I'm going to do it on Polygon. And I'm going to pay the gas fees. The users will not have to pay gas. But I want royalties, so I'm going to put 5%. Now I'm going to select the distribution method. And I have two ways. I can either schedule an airdrop, the date and the time, and I can upload a file, a CSV file with the list of my crypto wallets. I can also create a link. Anyone with the link can mint, and I decide that they can mint only one NFT per wallet. I can also whitelist email addresses, again, just by uploading a file. I'm going to do a link, and that's it. Now I'm going to configure my claim page. So I'm going to put my logo, for example. I'm going to change the color. Let's do this. All right. And that's it. So now the collection is done. The smart contract is being prepared. And you have two ways to distribute. You can either copy this widget, so those few lines of code that you can embed on your website, or you can copy this URL and distribute it by email, Instagram. It can be a QR code in your store or your showroom. And then when people click on it, they will arrive here. We're going to clean up a little bit this claim page, make it look better, but they can connect with their email address or their crypto wallets. And let's see.
Yeah, so something important to explain is that you don't need a wallet, you don't need MetaMask, you don't need to be a genius, right? You just need the Gmail, or what's the other one? It's
Google, Facebook, or just your email address.
yes.
And so now I receive an email just asking me to confirm.
So you could
And
send
it is confirmed.
Newsletter. You could have a list of email address. You could. The idea is that it's easy for any brands to create and distribute an NFT collection to anyone, so that even my mom, she would be able to claim. You don't need to be a crypto expert.
Exactly. So that's the first step of our CRM vision. So this product is launching next week, and we are now building fast and furious the second step, which is visualization of all your NFTs and also claiming your rewards and completing quests. The quests are designed by brands, and they will give you more NFT, more collectibles that you will collect when you complete quests. And those quests can happen in the physical world, in the digital world as well. It's a new way of engaging with brands. You can be rewarded for behaviors and also actions that you will take and the way you will interact with the brand. We are really firm believers in the power of NFTs in this new type of loyalty. And if you are interested in hearing more about it, seeing a more in-depth demo of our capabilities, you know where to find us on LinkedIn, and we would be glad to organize something.
Actually, there is a demo link that Olivier just put in the Typeform link if you want to register for a demo, so that we can tell you more about Metaverse and NFT. And I see actually a few questions. I don't know if Olivier, you finished your presentation or you still?
No, I'm done. Maybe we can take some questions.
Okay, so there's one question which is: do you hire new people for each metaverse, or do you learn how to build, or do you get in contact with other studios? So basically, we have this metaverse studio in the US called Polycount. And some people, I don't know, example, some artists, they will be good at building on Unity. And Unity can be Spatial is Unity, OVR is Unity, Decentraland is Unity, World is Unity. And some other, they're good at building on Unreal 5, as an example. And Unreal 5 can be also linked to this Journey Metaverse, to Odyssey. So it's a mix, right? In some case, example, for Roblox, we had to hire a new artist which is expert in Roblox. But We're building in 25 different metaverse. We have 22 people in the US, so actually most people they can build in most metaverse. But for sure, I mean, now we have a lot of demand, so we have to hire more and more artists. There's another question about financial institution. How could you imagine blockchain metaverse powered for financial institution? I don't know if someone has a inspiration for this one.
Yeah, I can handle this one. So nothing is better to go through the good example. Recently, I had a meeting with a CEO of the like a really major bank in the MENA region, and they were one of the first bank in the metaverse. They started building on first on the central end. They also started. They tried on the Roblox, and right now they're just experimenting. By experimenting, I mean they are inviting their new audience inside the virtual spaces, trying to provide them the same access to the same services. Like you can get your credit card, or you can get a consultancy inside the virtual space. In some cases, they bring the partners, so like you can purchase the products using the bank, let's say bank services, but then you connecting to the, for example, even the retail store, but using the service the bank provides inside the metaverse. So for now, it's a little bit more through the marketing perspective. They're using this as a tool to promote, to say that we're looking forward to the future. But of course, there are much more behind the interplay between the banks and the blockchain, because the banks and the metaverse, it's still a little bit of like a having experiments and having fun. But yeah, maybe Olivier, do you want to say a few words about maybe your vision for the banks and the blockchain?
So I don't know if I'm qualified to speak on this specific topic. My vision is that blockchain technology will be adopted by every industry, from health insurance. We will all have our records in the blockchain, all our administrative documents. So it only makes sense that banks will also adopt blockchain. Then is it CeFi, DeFi? Like that's another big topic of discussion. And I know a lot of banks are actually doing it and looking into that. So for me, it's just, I don't know, 20, 30 years, I have no idea, but blockchain will be totally mass adopted.
Yeah, my opinion on banking, actually, I've been working 1 year for a bank, for Crédit Agricole in France. I was selling financial products, which are kind of boring, right? You try to sell a product. In reality, the product is a contract of 100 pages that nobody read. It's sometimes quite technical. So you could imagine, look, you send to the client a link where they will learn it's kind of gamification of the product, right? You go, you learn about the product, you can click, you can speak to someone, you can watch a video, something which is much more fun than having this sometimes 100 pages that we change in one pages, but it's not fun, right? So it's how, I guess, for a bank, how can you gamify the customer experience?
I don't know if we have more questions. Let's see.
Yeah, don't be shy, or you can write any question in comments. And by the way, thank you for everyone who joined. I think we are something like 75 people who joined.
Yeah, very cool.
Today. Okay.
All right. What is your view on the current market? Are people interested in the metaverse as the hype died down? All right, very good question. So what is your view on the current market? Are people and brands still interested in the metaverse? So my vision is that I really like where we are right now, because it feels a little bit more quiet. But why? It's because the FOMO and stupidity of a year ago has completely disappeared. Last year, like end of 2021, early 2022, we were seeing kind of like this race to make an announcement. I got my this brand, this corporation got a headquarter in the metaverse and stuff. So it was really rushed. There was not a long-term strategic vision, and everybody was just trying to jump on that bandwagon. Right now, most brands have Web3 teams. Most brands have the certainty that there is something there, that the metaverse and NFTs are a great opportunity, but they are taking the time to build the right strategy, or at least to like write down the great roadmap and the right strategy, and to build for the long term. There is no more short-term gain like we have seen in 2022. So I feel the space is, number one, is more consolidated. A lot of bad players have disappeared. That's the good. It's the Darwinism of Web3, so that's great. And number two, it's much more strategic. It's much more healthy right now to have this relationship between brands, corporations, Web3 creators, Web3 projects, and builders like us.
Yes, actually, I think this month will be the best month ever in terms of B2B metaverse. So let's say last year was a year of the hype, and this year is a year of return of investment, which doesn't necessarily mean, you know, make money, but to have a concrete use case. It can be an event, it can be e-commerce, it can be gaming. But last year, I mean, it was ridiculous. Last year, there were some brands calling us, I need, in 2 days, I absolutely need a land because I need to be the first one to do it before my competitor. And you saw many big brands, they bought a land and they did nothing with that. And yeah, and actually, I guess there's a bit less demand at the moment for metaverse with a land like Sandbox and Decentraland. There's much higher demand for more like photorealistic metaverse experience, like a spatial or something on Unreal 5, like Journey, Odyssey, and many brands as well are looking for white label solutions so that they can have the experience on their website, and that's why we decided to do this partnership with World. But yes, very strong demand. In many cases, they don't even call it metaverse; they call it immersive experience. In more than 50% of the case, they don't really care about blockchain and NFT. They just want to provide a great immersive experience for their employees or for their clients to do something, events or e-commerce or whatever. But they don't talk about the market. You know, when we have meeting with them, we never speak about the price of Bitcoin, the price of NFT, about blockchain. It's much more like, okay, I have a traditional website, e-commerce website. Is it possible for me to sell some shoes in this immersive experience? You know, this kind of discussion.
Maybe I'll just add one more thing, because what's Olivier called the perfect time, and that he will call it's like the period of the return of investment for the brands. From the platform perspective, I can only say that's our kind of goal is to provide the tools, right? So like if you can get the numbers, you can get all the analytics of like how many people are there, how much time they spent inside the space, where did they come from, how many people actually were in the space. We find out that most of the platforms currently are still not providing the full analytics for the brands of what actually happens inside the space. And it was okay for the last year, but it's definitely required for any good platform for this year. And yeah, we are the platform supporting this new movement of like brands looking for real use cases where they need to understand what is working and what is not, which will be much more sustainable in the long term. So yeah, just let's do this.
Great, yeah, exactly. So maybe I can take we have a few more questions super quickly. What are your thoughts on the potential that the metaverse has to reduce environmental impact of fashion? This is the reason why we started building Exclusible. We are absolutely convinced that in a few years, it's going to be completely normal, standard, mass adopted, that every brand in the world will sell digital assets. So for me, it's a combination of metaverse, but not so much, it's more NFTs. NFTs technology will allow to sell digital products that don't exist, generate revenue stream, lower production. You can also do on-demand production, exactly the example asked in the question, where you can release an NFT first that will then fund the production. So it's made to order production. For me, that's the only way that we can solve the problem of overproduction, environmental impact. And that's why it's absolutely certain that every brand will go into the world of digital assets through blockchain technology, NFTs. And the metaverse then becomes the place where you can express your identity and wear those products. Another question on how many metaverse will survive. How do you see metaverse world evolving in a world with more limited resource cash available for the startups? We have listed 100, we have identified 150 metaverse platforms, and there's probably twice or three times more than that being built around the world. You have different variety of what we would call metaverse, which are 3D immersive experiences. Some of them are Web 2, some of them are Web 3. I believe that, unfortunately, maybe I'm wrong, but it's really my personal opinion, that we are going to go through the same phase that we went with social media 15, 20 years ago, where you're going to have like 1, 2, or 3 big, massive winners, like big platforms that are going to swallow the other ones. It's not the ideal of decentralization, but that's what happened 20 years ago. I don't know if maybe it's going to be the same thing. But as Ivan was saying, you will have different type of metaverse platforms, some of them based on land. I don't know if I'm really hopeful about land-based metaverse platforms. It's all about more about the experience. And then you have technology platforms that really power immersive commerce, visualization, filters, try-ons, and it's a more experiential, more exciting way to test and discover products and brands.
Yeah, what I can say, I have the feeling there's too many metaverse platforms. I mean, every week we are contacted by a new platform where they have a challenge that they have the tech, but they don't have the brands and they don't have revenue. So it's not easy for them to monetize, right? It's the same if you launch your social media. You can only monetize through advertisement, but to monetize, you need a lot of traffic, but to have traffic, you need the brands. And we're in the middle of a financial crisis. So I guess many startups will struggle, except when you have a clear business model like Worlds, which is easier. Why? Because it's a white label metaverse platform. So it's like the company pay you to build the experience as an agency, right? Either you buy a template or it's custom made experience. Then you pay a monthly fee as a subscription. The same way if you have a Shopify, you will pay every month. And if you sell some product, you pay a small commission. So I believe more in this kind of model. But yeah, same with social media, right? If tomorrow a guy tell you, oh, I'm going to launch a new Facebook, I mean, good luck. It's possible, but it's not easy. So there will be different subcategories. The same, we have YouTube, we have Instagram, and we have other kind of social media. I guess it's the same, right? You have Roblox, which is a gaming platform. You have the Decentraland and Sandbox for the lands, and you have some white label metaverse platform like Worlds. View about AR and VR. Yeah, what is interesting is actually we do the AR augmented reality experience with the phone, and actually Ivan showed earlier an example where you have the show, you're with your avatar, you see the shoes in 3 dimensions, so you have the immersive experience. You click on the shoes, and either you can buy it or you can click on the AR, scan a QR code, and see the shoes in 3D. So we like to mix immersive experience and AR, and we have a strong demand for that. Where I'm a bit less bullish personally, it's on the VR, with the Oculus, simply because it's still quite expensive. When you use it, you have a headache after 15 minutes. So that's why when we do events, and it's a bit the challenge. When we speak with brands, they say, oh, okay, so metaverse is the thing with the glasses, right? Like Facebook, like Meta. But no, 95% of the project we develop, it doesn't involve the Oculus. It's more like a gaming, and it's linked to another question. How do you explain to ordinary
people?
Can
I add just Can I add just one more thing about this kind of AR and VR application for the metaverse? The easiest way to explain this, so it's like imagine the VR, it's more like an experience when you're going to the movie. Sometimes, maybe once in 2 weeks or once in a month, you're going to the movie theater. So VR, it's going to be like that. So sometimes you can get this special experience, you can vary, you can be immersed. Vice versa, like kind of opposite, AR will be very similar to what you have here, like a mobile phone. It's almost implemented inside your hand, and you're using this in like every 5 minutes. So augmented reality, when it will be on the wearable devices, will be on a kind of daily basis. Your kind of a helper, like there will be a navigation experience for you. There will be notification experience for all of you. So the augmented reality in this perspective will be on a daily basis for like a much bigger part of the metaverse. But all this, it's a digital layer, and all this is a experience we're getting with the planet. So you're asking about the application. So everything you do in a normal life will be supported with augmented reality, and then unique experience could be provided for the VR. So that's just one thing I want to add.
Cool. I just want to address Amaya's question. Why should brands or corporations care about the metaverse? It's because it's the next phase of the internet, which is much more experiential, much more intelligent, and richer through what we just discussed: AR, AI, VR. We just go away from a flat, boring 2D. Now we are in 3D. It's immersive, it's social, it's content, it has commerce, it's everything. Nothing new. There's nothing new here. Okay, we've been playing video games. I think we have 3 billion people play video games every day, and so we're all used to, we've seen video games, we know how it works. You have your avatar, you have other people, you have quests, gamification. So it's just a natural evolution. And then blockchain and NFTs allow for ownership, and therefore monetization and engagement within those 3D immersive worlds. And the great thing is to connect both. As I said, it's not replacing anything. It's just a new layer in your marketing stack, and you can encourage people to interact with your brand in the physical world. And you can imagine, for example, an AR filter that is the replica of your metaverse super creative experience, and people can walk within that AR experience in your store. So what else do we have? How can a Web2 freelancer start? Yeah, how to start. So go on crypto Twitter, educate yourself, read. I think Gary Vee always says, spend 50 hours reading and educating yourself about Web3. Web3 is an incredible space with incredible people. It has nothing to do with anything you've done before in terms of launching a product, building a community. And so, yeah, educate yourself.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of learning by doing. Even for us, we started at Exclusible, the business was only NFT, and Facebook changed its name into Meta, and suddenly the brand were asking us, "Oh, what's about Metaverse?" And I was telling the team, "Look, we have to do something." And we started by doing some concerts in Decentraland. At first, we never did that before, right? We did 1, then 2, then we did 10. And after Sandbox called us, they say, "Guys, why you do only in Decentraland? Maybe you should do in Sandbox." Then we tried, and we did a few concerts in Sandbox. Then after we discovered Spatial, and we did some events there. So yeah, learning by doing, and you become expert by trying things. Okay, so sometimes you will do mistake. You have to do a lot to make many mistakes to learn. Yeah. But it's something so new. I consider, there's no really Web3 expert because it's so broad, right? Some people know well AR, some people know well NFT. I don't even know myself if I consider myself as an expert, right? It's like we have a different kind of knowledge and experience, but it's so early that you can start now, and in 3 months you can be as expert as anyone else.
Exactly. Just following that comment from someone referring to the McKinsey study, It is absolutely right. 2 years ago, McKinsey published their State of Luxury. And at that time, they said that they did a survey, and only 10% of the respondents thought that it would be negative for a brand to go into some type of video game metaverse experience. 90% of the respondents had a neutral or positive take on a brand going into that type of new territory. Therefore, the conclusion is to say it's neutral or positive. There is no risk into going into a metaverse experience or building a metaverse experience now. Of course, it has to be at par with your brand equity and the quality of the experience that you usually provide to your clients and your fans. But there is a very strong benefit in starting now to start getting insight, certainty, data, knowledge, experience. So when we go into mass adoption, I don't know when, 1 year, 2 years, I have no idea, then you will, as a brand, as a corporation, you will have a head start compared to the brands and corporations that have not launched yet their Web3 strategy.
Thank you. I see we're already 5 minutes
Relate.
for our next meeting.
Yes.
But thank you, everyone. I hope it was quite fun. I hope you learned a few things. I mean, you know where to find us on LinkedIn, by email, or by clicking the Typeform link, which is somewhere in the comments.
I think we should do that type of LinkedIn live sessions more often, and we're going to issue an NFT for each session, and then we'll see who attends those the most often.
Yes, we can invite different guests. Actually, if some of you are listening and you're in the space, you can potentially be guests for the next time. We can have different subjects. Here it was kind of a broad one, but maybe sometime we have kind of more specialized session on AR and VR or NFT specifically. But yeah, it was the first session.
And one day we'll have a session in the metaverse.
Yes, we will. So sorry, I see just one last question on interoperability. It's a very, very good question. It's kind of the holy grail of the metaverse is interoperability. I think it's also a little bit of a blown up, like it's an exaggerated term, because interoperability today can be achieved. No one does it just because it's very manual. You need to create a file format for each metaverse that you want to go into, like Roblox, which is Web2, Fortnite is also Web2, Decentraland, Sandbox, different file formats. But there's just a cost to creating those formats for each and every experience and for each and every asset. But a lot of startups are working on automating the process of converting one file from one format to the next. The future will be where you, as a user, you buy or you get for free a wearable, and then you toggle through a menu that will ask you for which platform you want that wearable. It's already being built, but it's not there yet.
Yeah, I can give an example. We did some cross-metaverse parties, example, between world and spatial. So you go in world, you have a DJ, you have specific music, you go on the balcony and you see, click here to go to the yacht party. You click there, it sends you to the spatial metaverse of the yacht, where you have different people, different kind of music, different kind of experience. And you see a jet ski, you click on the jet ski, it's going to an island. On the island, you have another experience. So I believe a lot in, at the end of the day, it's a three-dimensional internet, right? The same way you can go from Gucci website to Facebook to Instagram, it's just one click away. And I guess this is what is the metaverse. I don't believe there will be one platform at the end, but there will be multiple companies, like multiple social media we have right now, and you click in one, you click another one. Some are specialized in e-commerce, some in gaming, and some in events. And thank you, everyone. And yeah, I mean, feel free to reach out if you, I don't know, what consultant, freelancer, you work for an agency, you work with brand. We're always happy to explore synergies, partnership with everyone in the ecosystem around the NFT and metaverse. And have a good day, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Thank you, Thibaut.
Bye-bye.